Welcome officially. You've been here for a little while now. I'm curious how you approach it. I mean, I don't want to be too disrespectful of what's happened here, but it's pretty much building from the ground up, and you have to start the foundation. How have you approached it since you've gotten here?
Well, thank you for having me, number one. Appreciate it. I think you hit it, I think, from the ground up, right? I don't think that we talk about brick by brick. I think that's the kind of where we're at, just one at a time, and just building it right and building it well and building a strong foundation more than anything else with the guys that we have. I'm excited. I like our guys. They work hard. They're in it, man. They show up ready to practice every day and get better. And so we have a ways to go for sure, but I do like the way we've gone about it in the fall. The fall just finished last week, and so now we're just finals are coming up, and guys are getting ready for those, and then we'll get it going back in January. But it's been a good fall. They're learning us as a coaching staff. We're learning them as the roster, and so it's been interesting because it's a lot of things that we do probably differently than what they're used to, and so it's been a learning process, I think, from both sides.
Well, now I got to ask, what are some of the different things that you guys do?
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily too different. I think it's just more of just an emphasis on little things. I mean, I'm talking about the batting cages being cleaned up. I'm talking about the locker room being
little
cleaned.
things.
I'm talking about the dugout being swept out after practice every day. I'm talking about picking up trash and just taking pride in our stadium and our field and just taking ownership of this program. So I think that's whether it's different from the past, I don't know, but I've heard people say that people show up at practice and say it's just I went in the cages and it's different, it's clean. It's scouts have come to our workouts and say, hey, it's just a different energy. Guys are moving about on the field, sprinting on and off, and so it takes time, but I guess it's just having them understand that's important for us as we move forward. And yeah, we want to play good baseball, absolutely, and we got to win games. We know that, but I think that the underbelly of all this is just building a program where the guys just take pride in every aspect of it, not just being able to play good baseball.
You were the head man at Grand Canyon for 11 seasons, had a lot of success there. What made USC and this timing specifically the right move to make this jump?
Well, I'm from Cerritos, California, here, just outside of here, Los Angeles, and so I grew up here in town, and I went to high school, and USC has always been USC, man. It's just the allure of SC, and so I think a chance to come back home, and I felt like when I was asked to be the head coach at Grand Canyon, Grand Canyon is a really good baseball program in the 80s. They kind of hit a little bit of just kind of stalled out a little bit, and I was excited about the challenge of helping rebuild that program. And then I felt like this was another challenge for me to do it here as well, and I enjoy challenges. I've always enjoyed being the underdog, I guess, but it's hard to say that USC is an underdog because it shouldn't be that way, right? We know that because of the history here. But the challenge of coming here and bringing the right coaches with me and recruiting players and helping restore, I think, what, in my mind, is the greatest college baseball program in the history of college baseball. And so people will say, was it tough? I mean, it was tough because of leaving a place where I enjoyed being. But the challenge of coming to USC, and there's challenges for sure. There's challenges anywhere you go for the first time, but it really wasn't that difficult a decision.
You're listening to the USC head baseball coach, Andy Stankiewicz, and you mentioned the history, and that's always sort of the double-edged sword I find with a bunch of programs around here, but in particular baseball, because the standard is so high. The alum standard is so high. You go to work on Mark McGwire way every day, but it's hard to find the next Mark McGwire. It's certainly hard to run off titles the way Coach Dado did. It probably can't happen again. And yet that history is also probably, something that's great for selling to recruits. How do you sort of balance that? It is a different college baseball landscape, let me put it that way, than maybe when, Seaver and Dado and all these guys were just running off national championships. But it's still out there. It's still possible. I'm sure you believe that if you take this job.
No, certainly believe it. If you can help me find the Mark McGwire,
amen,
or Randy Johnson, I'll take them both. I think you're right. The history here is so good. But remember now, the guys we're recruiting now, a lot of them are familiar with Mark McGuire,
Oh,
which you wouldn't
no.
think. Like, how in the
come
world
on.
are you not familiar with Mark McGuire?
No way.
No, you would be shocked. And just how it's a different time, right?
Yeah.
They're interested in different things, and so the history is great, but helping them understand it. And we have that Hall of Fame room right when you walk into our lobby, and it's just you walk around that and you see the jerseys of all these Seavers, right, and Fred Linds and.
Yeah.
Oh man, Steve Kemps, and it's endless, man. Jeff Jenkins, right? It just, Jeff Cirillo, right? Aaron Boone, Brett Boone. I mean, we're familiar.
Yeah.
A lot of our guys, they don't necessarily know that. They just know what it is now, right? And so that's fine. So now it's our job, my job, to show the city of Los Angeles and obviously the West Coast and the country that this is coming back. We're going to rebuild this. We're going to restore this. We're going to have that same type of success that Coach Dato did and Coach Gillespie. And so it's not going to be easy for sure. But again, this is Southern California. The weather's great, right? We got a beautiful stadium, right? We got all the resources you could ever need right here on this campus provided by our athletic department, right? And so it's all here. Now it's just a matter of recruiting well and bringing the right guys in and teaching them good fundamental baseball and getting them to believe that we can be as great as we want to be. And I really believe that. I wouldn't have taken this job if I didn't believe that.
You mentioned you just finished fall ball. You had 2 games, though, at the end of fall in November. What did you learn about the state of your team after those 2 games?
Well, we've got to be more consistent. I think that's something that we've been driving home since we got here. It's just, you play a weekend series, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and understanding that you have to play well every day, right? You can't be just play well for one good game and then kind of just go away for 2. That's how you finish in the bottom of the Pac-12. And so they got to understand that we've got to play better. And we had spurts, and basically both those games we played kind of like it was a full game, but we kind of had a little break in between just to kind of regather ourselves and go back out again. And so in both of those, the second end wasn't very good. The first was good, but the second part wasn't nearly as the focus was there, but we didn't execute. Right, we just lost our way, and so those are perfect examples, I think, of kind of how we got to get better. We have to stay on it. We have to be. I use the word relentless a lot, and we had moments of showing that type of personality, but then we lost it. And so our head coaching staff, it's our job to help them understand that you can't take plays off. If you do, you're not going to have the success that you need to have.
Makes sense.
You've had experience building a program, obviously Grand Canyon in the past. Is the process, obviously it's not exactly copy and paste, but what changes by being at a USC with more resources like you referenced and a bigger platform? Is it the same mindset that you had when you got the job at Grand Canyon, or what shifts there at all?
Well, I think it's similar. A lot of the emotions that I'm going through as a coach and watching us perform daily and practice every day, have the same feel that I had when I took over Grand Canyon. It's just about trying to get them to understand what's going to be important day in and day out. Now here, it's obviously when I was at Grand Canyon, we started a Division II program, then we went to Division I, and there it's well provided as well. All resources are good. Not quite here, but I think here, just trying to get people to understand that SC can be as good as we once were. And it's hard. I mean, here you've got UCLA, obviously has done a great job. You've got Cal State Fullerton, Long Beach State. You've got UC Irvine. I mean, you've got in the Pac-12. And so there in Arizona, it was ASU and U of A. So here it's a little bit bigger beast to recruit against because we're recruiting against the same guys that the Pac-12 schools are recruiting. So it's getting them to, and I got to find guys that have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, a little bit. And again, I say that it's crazy. How could you recruit a guy to USC that needs to have the David versus Goliath? But we do, because we haven't been very good, obviously. And so I've got to recruit a young man that gets excited about that's getting recruited by UCLA and Stanford and Oregon State and who've been there and done it. And I got to bring a guy in that's excited about coming alongside me and our staff and going, Coach, I want to do it with you. I see what you want. I see your vision for USC baseball, and I want to be a part of that, even though he's getting recruited by other schools that are having a lot of success. And so that's the fun part of it as well in selling USC baseball. And so it's like I'm trying to sell USC baseball. In my mind, growing up here, that would never have been an issue. It's like I'm sure whoever Coach Dato wanted, Coach Dato got.
Different times.
Yeah. And so that's part of it, right?
Yep.
And moving forward, and that's what we're going to do.
All right, we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to seeing the Trojans take the field in the spring. Dado Field, new head coach Andy Stankiewicz. I always think it's weird to call a head coach in baseball. As a baseball guy, you're a manager or a skipper. Skip, head coach in college. They still call you that. But we appreciate you taking the time, Skip, and we look forward to year one under Andy Stankiewicz.